Good morning, first graders. Happy Tuesday. I hope you had a good long weekend. Today is Tuesday, May 26th, and it is almost the end of the school year. We have this week and next week, and that is it, and you are done with first grade. So keep going strong. We're almost there, and it's almost summer. So today it's going to be cloudy, partly cloudy, so you'll see maybe some sun, but it's supposed to rain this afternoon. Looks right around 3 o'clock or so. It's supposed to rain, and into the night it's supposed to rain as well. So make sure if you're going to get outside, make sure you get outside before 3. And it's 70 today, so nice and warm. Okay? So today, remember we have our Zoom call at 11:15. And you will see your regular assignments that you have to do. Before we get to our fractions talk for today, I'm going to talk to you about your riddle, which today is what letter, and I can't remember if I did this one, but what letter has the most water? What letter in the alphabet has the most water? Think about it, check out what we're going to talk about with fractions, and then have a great day. We'll see you later. Your IXL homework is going to be working on identifying fourths, and tomorrow you're going to be working on identifying halves and fourths. So today what I wanted to focus on is halves and fourths. Now when we talk about fractions, remember we're talking about equal pieces of something. So now we've been working with cookies, and now I want to show you something that's a little bit more mathematical. Okay, so when we're looking at something like, let's say, a rectangle or a circle, just like our cookies were, if we were to cut them in half, how many pieces would we be cutting our cookie or our block into if we're cutting it in half? Well, if we cut something in half, that means we're cutting it into two pieces. So you can see that I've already cut my block and my circle into two pieces, right? Now, in order for them to be cut in half, or to show one half, I'm going to color in one half. So let's say if I asked you which side of the cookie is one half, or show me a half of the cookie. Well, you'd have to pick either this side or this side. So I'm going to pick this side, and you can see that I have one, and then a little line, and then two. This means one half, because one is half of two. And it also means I have one piece colored in out of my total of two. So I have one half of my cookie. How would I split my other block in half? Well, I'd split it right down the middle, just like I did with the line here. And I would go just like that. Now let's say I wanted to add a different circle. We'll move these ones off to the side here. I have a half, and we're still working on a half. Right now, my circle has 0 pieces to it, right? It's just one whole piece. How many pieces do I need to split it into in order to make it a half? Oops, and it looks like I need to make a new circle. So if I have my circle here, how many parts do I need to split it into, or how many pieces do I need to split it into to make it one half? You can see I have some options here. 1 is what it already is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, let's click 2. Okay, and that's what that looks like. I click 3. Now I have 3 pieces. 4, I have 4 pieces, or fourths. Fifths, 5 or fifths, I have 5 pieces. 6 or sixth, I have 6 pieces. 8 pieces or eighths. Tenths, 12ths. And you can hear at the end of these I'm adding a TH sound because that's how we say it when we're talking about fractions. So we call this one 1/2, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, eighths, tenths, twelfths. You can add any number you want into. You can even make it 1,000 or 100. And you can see that it cuts it into 100 equal pieces. So in order to cut it in half, I have to cut it into 2 pieces. And then for one of them to be a half, I have to color one in, just like that. So half always means 2 pieces, no matter if it's a rectangle, or if it's a circle, or if it's a triangle, whatever shape, whatever it is, if you cut it into 2 equal pieces, you have cut it in half. So if I get rid of these, and I told you to cut this in half, how many pieces would you cut it into? How many parts? Well, you have to pick so many parts right here. And for half, we know that you would have to pick 2 parts. So I feel like most of us understand what a half means, and that we can split something in half if we wanted to. But let's talk about what we wanted to do with fourths. Now, what number do you hear when you hear me say the word fourths? The number 4, that's right. I say the number 4 because when we cut something into fourths, we cut it into 4 pieces. So if I have my circle, like I had my cookie, and I wanted to cut it into fourths, how many pieces would I have to cut it into? 4. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now, each one of these is a fourth. It is one of the 4 pieces. So if I color in 1, I can see that I have 1/4 over here. If I color in 2, I have 2 out of my 4 colored in. If I have my 3 colored in, I have 3 out of 4 colored in. And if I have 4, I have all 4 colored in. So I have 4 out of 4 colored in. And if I get rid of 1, I can go all the way back to 0. So when I cut something into fourths, I have to cut it into 4 pieces. And they have to be the same size. If they're different sizes, it doesn't work. Okay, I can't have 4 different pieces of 4 different sizes. So when you cut it into fourths, you need to cut it into 4 pieces. So let's take a look at our square, or not our square, excuse me, our rectangle. Now a rectangle, if we wanted to cut into fourths, we would have to cut into how many parts? 4 parts. That's right, because we're trying to cut it into 4 different pieces. So now if I color them in, if I color in 1/4 like I did up here, that would be the same as coloring in 1/4 down here, one of the 4 pieces. So these may not be the same size, but they're the same amount of each thing. So this is 1 out of 4 pieces of the black. This is 1 out of 4 pieces of the cookie. And the same thing happens if I color in 2 pieces. I color in 2 out of 4, or I color in 3 out of 4, or 4 out of 4. So the main thing you need to remember when you're working on your IXL with fourths, halves and fourths, is a fourth always shows 4 pieces, and a half always shows 2 pieces. So when I'm looking at them side by side, let me get another rectangle up here. I have a fourth because there are 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have a half because there are 2 pieces, 1, 2. So a half down here would be 1, 2. This would be the half. They would be cut in half. And this one would be cut into fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you count the number of pieces because that will tell you what it's divided into. And remember, always with fractions, they have to be the same size. If they're not the same size, they are not a fraction. So make sure they're the same size and make sure they're either 2 or 4 pieces. Okay? So today what you'll do is you're just going to work on fourths, but tomorrow you're going to work on fourths and halves. So today just focus on fourths, and tomorrow you'll be working on comparing the two. Excel, I actually got confused. So today you are going to do both 5 and 6. So you are going to work on fourths and halves and fourths today. I know I said in the earlier part of the video that you're just going to work on one today and one tomorrow. I was mistaken. So you'll do 5 and 6 today. Okay, and I'll suggest those for you right now. So make sure you do both of those as well. And as always, remember you have Raz Kids. So make sure you're checking in English and in Spanish. Make sure you're recording yourself reading and making sure you're checking for any assignments that you might have to do. Today you have color by addition. It says roll 3 dice, add the numbers together and color the result. Now, if you're like me, you don't have dice at home. That's okay. I use the internet. So what happens is I'll just search in Google. Let's say dice roll in Google. And I'll just pick one of the first ones that comes up. Now I want to make sure I'm rolling 3 dice. And so I click roll 3 virtual dice. I hit roll dice and it shows me 3 dice right here. And so I roll, or I add these ones up, and then I can work on this sheet right here. In Spanish, you're going to work on page 23, verbos and adverbios. So you're going to look at the words down here and figure out whether they're adverbs or verbs. So those are the 2 workbook pages you have in Spanish today. And now I will talk to you about your